Jennifer Lopez. It seems like she can't sell her tour. She's been cancelling dates, struggling to sell tickets.
Jennifer Lopez wanted to get like, hey, I'm still popular too. And she's not so much.
Was J.Lo banned from a luxury store? And what is her connection to the presently unfolding Diddy situation? We'll answer this and more today in Top 10 Jennifer Lopez Lies Exposed to Everyone. Knight, a former record exec, revealed in September of this year that he believes the reason that J.Lo separated from ex-husband Ben Affleck was because of some tapes found in Diddy's home. Knight shared his theories on his podcast, claiming that when the FBI raided Diddy's home, they would have found some tapes featuring the Jenny from the Block singer. The former record exec further went on to bring up the 1999 incident that got J.Lo arrested with Diddy, the altercation in the Manhattan club that dissolved into a police chase and the arrest of the famous individuals. Knight said, they go raid Puffy's house and they get all these videos of J.Lo doing this and J.Lo doing that, and they know the fact that J.Lo lied and said that the weapon was Shine's or whatever and sent that man to prison, destroyed his life, and she knew it was Puffy's. This is a pretty major accusation considering that people were hurt in that club fight. If you can believe it, this isn't the only person that has indirectly revealed that J.Lo might have lied or not been entirely truthful about her involvement that night. Earlier this year, new details came to light when Rodney Little Rod Jones Jr. filed a civil lawsuit for non-consensual relations and harassment against Diddy. But it also seemed to possibly reference this 1999 incident as well. It claimed that on the day Homeland Security raided Diddy's home, he displayed his weapons and bragged about getting away with using these weapons against people. It went further, saying that J.Lo was the one who carried the firearm into the club for him and passed him the firearm after he got into an altercation with another individual. On the night of the incident, J.Lo was held for 14 hours before being cleared of all charges. Now you would think that the club situation was enough drama on its own with everything we just covered, but it actually exposed another long haul lie that J.Lo had kept up. The star had told everyone that she was born in 1970, but because she was, arrested that night, she had to tell the police her actual date of birth, which revealed that she was actually born in 1969. Not really a major difference, but it was enough to have people buzzing. I mean, the whole night definitely had news publications buzzing. This was just like a little cherry on top, and what a way to have to reveal your age to the world. J.Lo wasn't entirely honest about who was singing the chorus of her song, If You Had My Love. Shania Harrell apparently sang the chorus, but was credited as just a background singer. Having someone else on your track, it's super common in the music industry. In recent years, it's more common that people will sing the majority of their song and the other voices will truly be backing vocals, but it seems like in this case, Harrell might have not been credited properly if she really did sing the chorus and J.Lo is just lip-syncing along. Maybe J.Lo never came out and said that she wasn't fully singing the chorus, but she also didn't make it known that she wasn't. Likely what happened is J.Lo did put some vocals in there, mixed in with Harrell handling the brunt of it. As for crediting the person as a background singer, there's no way of knowing if J.Lo was the one to sign off on that. A similar situation can be found for J.Lo's song I'm Real. J.Lo might be known as the singer, but Ashanti deserves her flowers, at least when it comes to the chorus and ad-libs and the writing of the song. Allegedly, the song I'm Real by Jennifer Lopez was written by Ashanti. She sung the demo that was given to J.Lo. Typically, artists, when they get demos, they just use it to see what the song will sound like, then they re-record the song because it's their song now, they want their vocals. At least that is what one might think. In this case, it looks like J.Lo did not re-record anything, just kept the demo vocals and ad-libs. Ashanti received credit for background vocals, but the co-writing credit was nowhere to be found. So, while J.Lo likely got permission to do that, it wasn't a good look in the eyes of the public since it almost felt like J.Lo lied to them about who was really singing the song. To make the entire situation worse, J.Lo, who is Puerto Rican, used the N-word on the track. That was met with the appropriate response and callouts. I Am Real was so successful that Ashanti did actually write for J.Lo again, so there must not have been too much bad blood. She came back to write Ain't It Funny, also adding some ad-lib vocals into this song. She did get to appear in the music video for that one too. Social media star Samantha Barbash was the inspiration behind the critically acclaimed film Hustlers, produced by and starring Jennifer Lopez. But she called out the actress for lying about her compensation on that movie. Samantha in general does not appreciate that film and actually sued J.Lo and her production company for defamation. Samantha shared her perspective on the situation in an interview with TMZ. She said, "They basically stole my story. I wouldn't sign my rights away. I wasn't giving away my film and TV rights for peanuts." J.Lo famously said that she didn't make any money working on Hustlers, that she did it for free because she loved the story. But Barbash is claiming that the star is lying about that, saying, J.Lo doesn't work for free, why would I? She further claimed that 87% of the film was wrong. Samantha's case, though, was ultimately dismissed. There was a rumor going around that J.Lo had asked her friend Derek Hough to move his wedding around to better fit the scheduling for her movie. Turns out, that was a big lie. Derek Hough exposed the rumor for what it was, nothing but a fake story. He did this during an interview with E! News. He clarified that J.Lo did not make him change his schedule, she flipped her schedule around for him. He also went on to say that J.Lo provided guidance and help while he was planning his wedding. The reason the rumor even started in the first place was because J.Lo was adamant on getting Derek Hough for her movie, but when she was told that he couldn't do it because he was in a wedding, his wedding, she still asked them to call again anyways. People assumed that because Hough was ultimately in the movie, that she made him switch things around, which again wasn't the case. One TikTok user accused J.Lo of lying about having a tough upbringing. This came after clips from J.Lo's documentary, The Greatest Love Story Never Told, went viral online. The artist was talking about her life in the Bronx, her working class family, and how crazy it was. She said, "I like taking my hair out like this. It reminds me like when I was 16 in the Bronx, running up and down the block." One TikTok user, Photos by Angela, did not appreciate these claims and called out J.Lo for lying about her life and accused the star of using the people of the Bronx to look human. In her own video about the situation, she said, "We both attended an all-girls high school in an Irish and Italian neighborhood, so you weren't running up and down the block." Angela later admitted that her and J.Lo didn't attend the school at the same time. J.Lo went there first, but Angela did know of her. What has been apparently a known industry secret recently reached public ears when multiple stories of J.Lo's tipping etiquette emerged on the social media app TikTok. Dozens of people in the serving industry shared the same story. J.Lo either wouldn't tip much, or if her husband at the time tipped more than she thought appropriate, she would replace that tip with something smaller. Most stories have one thing in common: J.Lo is not fun to serve. This situation also has people up in arms, considering J.Lo is always referencing her upbringing and how hard she worked. It makes people wonder why she is so reluctant to give those in the service industry an extra boost every once in a while. One former casino employee claimed in a video that J.Lo would either encourage Ben Affleck to leave smaller tips for employees, or if he still left something bigger, circle back later to exchange that tip for something smaller, likely without her husband knowing, but unfortunately not always. In one particular instance of this, Affleck was allegedly present when it happened and allegedly looked mortified. Now some servers have made the claim that Affleck doesn't tip at all anymore. TikTok user Candace made a video calling servers to comment on it if they have a J.Lo story like this, and many shared their experiences and those of their friends. Recently, J.Lo was spotted out with a $70,000 Hermes bag on her arm, and people were quick to comment on that high price tag. It is more than some people's salary, but that's not even the big deal here. Some TikTok and Threads users have been spreading a rumor that J.Lo has been banned from Hermes because of this very bag, saying that the star didn't pay for it in full or something like that, and as punishment she was banned from the luxury store. This would mean they are losing a big customer, since J.Lo's Hermes collection totals to hundreds of thousands of dollars. The singer has a wide range of Birkins in addition to the picnic basket looking one that landed her name in the headlines. Her most expensive bag is an estimated $500,000. There are a few loose threads with the Hermes ban rumor, one being, why would the luxury store let one of their precious bags go without receiving full payment for it? If she bought it secondhand, why would the store ban her? If she has more expensive bags, why wouldn't she be able to afford this one? It's safe to say that this was one internet rumor that turned out to be a big lie.
I used to live here.
Huh?
I used to live here. Huh?
What is your name?
My name is Jennifer.
I like taking my hair out like this. It reminds me like when I was 16 in the Bronx, running up and down the block.
I saw your high school photo. You did not have hair like that, and we also both attended an all-girls Catholic high school in an Irish and Italian neighborhood, so you weren't running up and down the block.
What is your go-to comfort meal?
I grew up, I'm Puerto Rican, so I like rice and beans.
Are you Puerto Rican?
And yes, I am.
Jennifer Lopez is a liar. She's lied about her age, her singing, and even where she grew up. Yes, Jenny is not from the block. Now, in 1999, J.Lo was arrested with her then boyfriend at the time, P. Diddy. Why? Well, there was an incident about Diddy injuring someone, and they fled the scene, and it was dramatic, but what came out of all this is that J.Lo had actually been lying about her age. Up until that point, Jennifer had said she was born in 1970, Diddy, but she was actually born in 1969. Now this is just strange to me because it was only changed by 1 year. Now that seems like such an insignificant detail. Why would she change it? Well, it seems like no one really knows. Of course, Hollywood prefers younger stars, but a year difference doesn't seem like that much. Some people have theorized that maybe she changed her age due to schooling and just stuck with it, but I don't know. Lying about your age by 1 year is just weird. Now J.Lo is known for being youthful, and her secret to this is apparently olive oil. Yep, you heard that right. The star spoke out ahead of the launch of her J.Lo Beauty skincare range in December 2020, saying of olive oil, "It's the secret I've used over the years because it really does work." Now she went on to encourage people to also be vigilant with sunscreen, explaining, "One of the big things I would encourage everyone to do from the time they're 15 years old, even younger, is wear sunscreen every day." But some fans found another way that she maintains her youthful appearance online by using video and photo filters. TikTok user @NeedTheDeets exposed the trick she uses as its video filters. "Wait for the filter to fall off to see J.Lo's real skin texture," they captioned the video, which was a promotion for sport water. In the footage, Jennifer looks flawless, but at one point she leans closer to the camera and her skin looks less smooth and far from perfect. Jen then quickly readjusts herself, making the glitch last about half a second, but it just proved that she's not perfect. Now, this makes me question, does she even use olive oil on her skin, or did she just say that? I don't know, but all I know is that she's human and isn't perfect. Now plastic surgeon Corey Hartman took to Instagram to challenge J.Lo on this claim. He said, "There are some things that I think and other things that I know for sure. I think Jennifer Lopez is probably forgetting if she's ever had Botox, but I know for sure that she's used more than olive oil to maintain that glow. I really thought we'd turn the corner on Botox denial and judging others for personal choices when it comes to cosmetic procedures. Let's not go back to stigmatizing Botox. To each his own, and good luck to J.Lo with the olive oil. We don't believe you, but we still love you, Jenny." Now Jennifer has obviously not responded to these claims, but everyone knows it's true. Now, if you didn't know, J.Lo is notorious for stealing from other artists. The fact that we've let her get away with it so much is honestly crazy. Now J.Lo caught her big break in 1997, where she starred as the late Latin pop singer Selena in her biography of the same name. After the film, J.Lo got into music. Her demo was picked up by music exec Tommy Mulata and Sony Music. She then dropped her debut album On the 6th in summer 1999, and one big hit from the album was If You Had My Love. People loved it, but it received backlash from R&B singer Shantae Moore. Now Moore had a near identical song called If I Gave Love, recorded a year prior in 1998. Now both songs from J.Lo and Moore were written and produced by Rodney Jerkins, and this was done on purpose. It's been said that J.Lo's then boyfriend Diddy pressured Jerkins to write a near identical song. From then on, J.Lo's stealing habits worsened as time went on, and it became more and more obvious. Now one thing she would continuously do is use background vocals from other artists and claim they were her own. Her songs like Play and the I'm Real remix feature prominent reference track vocals from Christina Milian and Ashanti. Now Jennifer and Ja Rule's music video for the I'm Real remix, J.Lo reused Ashanti's reference track vocals on the song and passed them off as her own. Now instead of J.Lo re-recording the song, she left the demo vocals on the song and failed to credit Milian or Ashanti. Now the worst offender is J.Lo's signature song though, Jenny from the Block. Natasha Ramos sings on the track's chorus, bridge, and ad-libs. Now Natasha also contributed vocals to multiple songs on J.Lo's third album, This Is Me Then. Now Natasha has downplayed her contributions to the song, but this is directly contradicted by the leaked reference track showing Natasha's chorus and ad-libs are directly cut and pasted. Like no J.Lo vocals are in there at all. Now J.Lo has also stolen or attempted to steal from other artists like Usher, Brandy Norwood, Mariah Carey, and many more. In 2005, Usher claimed that she stole a song that he cast aside while recording his hugely successful album called Confessions. Usher claimed that J.Lo's single Get Right is actually a re-recorded version of Ride, a song that he co-wrote the year before, which was only available online. He said, "I hate it, but I'd better get some of the publishing rights or else. I didn't put it on my album because I couldn't get it right, but I didn't expect J.Lo to just take it. Then there's J.Lo and her image of being from the Bronx. In her documentary released this year, The Greatest Love Story Ever Told, she says that it's about facing the truth of who you really are. But that clip completely backfired when it went viral, as fans said she wasn't even from the Bronx. A clip showed Jennifer tousle her hair while looking into a mirror, reminiscing about her childhood. She says, "I like taking my hair out like this. It reminds me like when I was 16 in the Bronx, running up and down the block. Crazy little girl who used to be wild and no limits, all dreams." But even though she loves speaking about the Bronx, it's a place she actively avoids. One TikTok creator, Photos by Angela, posted a video alleging that she and J.Lo had gone to the same high school and claims to have waited for years before speaking out, having been annoyed in silence. In the TikTok clip, she bluntly accuses J.Lo of lying and using the residents of the Bronx to look human. "We both attended an all-girls high school in an Irish and Italian neighborhood, so you weren't running up and down the block," she says. Not to mention the fact that J.Lo starred in a commercial that took place in the Bronx, but the ad backfired when the Smoking Gun reported that J.Lo never actually went to the Bronx to film the ad and that a body double stand-in was used instead. It seems like she really doesn't like being Jenny from the block. Now, along with stealing songs, she apparently doesn't always sing live. In November 2021, she was slammed by music fans for allegedly lip-syncing during her American Music Awards performance as she took the stage to carry out her brand new song, On My Way, Marry Me. Now, another angry reviewer ranted, "Come on with the overproduced singing, this commercial sounds exactly like her live vocals did." Now, a commentator pointed out, "Why are you lip-syncing? You have a great voice, just sing the song." Now, this isn't the first time this has happened though, as in 2014 she was caught lip-syncing her performance of I Love Ya Poppy on American Idol. Now, this just wasn't a good look at all. And finally, there was the time she was caught cheating. As we all know, J.Lo and Ben Affleck had an on-again, off-again romance that has been going on since the 2000s and ended this year with the couple getting divorced after being married for only 2 years. Now, the timeline of their relationship is a huge red flag and included alleged cheating. So in July of 2002, J.Lo filed for divorce from her second husband, Chris Judd, citing irreconcilable differences. But this news broke just months after J.Lo had wrapped the movie Jilji alongside Ben. Even though she vehemently denied cheating rumors, Ben took out an ad in The Hollywood Reporter talking about his love for J.Lo before her divorce wasn't even finalized. In fact, Chris Judd's father, Larry, spoke out against the couple and accused J.Lo of being unfaithful to his son. He insinuated that the affair started during the filming of Jilji, saying, "I thought Mr. Affleck would honor a married woman and not just go right into the trailer." He then added that she'd be happier if she just tell the truth and that no one in her inner circle is going to say one negative thing to her.
1 in 5 celebrities have been involved in a public scandal, but only one has been linked to a $100 million divorce, an audition debacle, and a bribery offense. The question is, what's the real price of J.Lo's fame? Jennifer Lopez's glamorous facade hides a web of shocking scandals carefully concealed from the public eye. These revelations I'll be exposing will leave you speechless. Starting off with an alleged inappropriate tape scandal. The singer's intimate videos recorded by her first husband, Ojani Noah, have been the subject of a complicated legal battle for years. Her ex-husband's business partner, Ed Meyer, planned to unveil the film telling a tale of their failed marriage. To give quick background, Lopez and Noah first met at a Cuban restaurant in Miami where he was working as a waiter. They married in February of 1997 but divorced 11 months later, and Noah would go on the record much later and say their relationship changed after Lopez catapulted to the next level of stardom. He said, "Jen loves being in love, but she's been engaged 6 times. I was husband number 1, and she told me I was the love of her life. When we laid in bed on our wedding night, she said we would be together forever." He then continued by saying, "We fell in love when she was already famous, but during our marriage, she became a mega star. For years, it was too painful to talk about. I wanted to lie low and live my life. But when I saw she got married to Ben, who is a good guy, the feelings came flooding back. I'm not trying to like invalidate his feelings, but my guy, 11 months. And I hate to say it, but I think that most people go into each marriage assuming they will be with their partner forever, right? Like, I don't know. To me, it's very much giving can't let go, can't move on, and still salty. But anyway, the master tape of all the footage was in a central depository court order. But Meyer believed at the time that they had a legal loophole after Lopez withdrew her claims while the case was in arbitration. Meyer had said, "We are going to produce a DVD and also have a streaming release of the J.Lo home video footage. There is a revealing video of her with lack of clothing in inappropriate situations, especially in the hotel footage from the honeymoon." He added that the footage will shock her fans and claim that he had unfinished business with Lopez as he continued to expose her personal side. Like, I can maybe understand her ex-husband Noah saying all of this and wanting some sort of revenge and even having unfinished business of sorts that would make him like want to expose J.Lo. But his business partner, like what? Just loud and wrong, doing entirely too much to try to get a bag, clearly. So at the end of the day had to end, and that it did because Noah released absolutely nothing. The video has never been seen, and I really hope the man honestly has moved on by now. Now, this next scandal is super weird, like very bizarre to not talk about it. So I'm dishing it to you, and if you haven't heard about it, thank me later. This is the J.Lo Virgo audition controversy, and please let me preface by saying I'm into astrology. Like, I might have not went on a date with someone because they were a sign that my sign doesn't match well with, but I'm nowhere near as petty as J.Lo is in this next story. So back in 2012, J.Lo held a dance audition for her world tour. Now, it sparked like heated debates about the fairness and legitimacy of the casting process. Here's the breakdown, okay? So she held an open casting call and hundreds of dancers attended the audition. But things took an unusual turn when it was revealed that Lopez had a peculiar requirement for the dancers. According to various reports and testimony from dancers who attended the audition, Lopez asked the dancers about their, yes, you guessed it, astrological signs, but in specific really just wanted to know whether they were Virgos or not. Several dancers came forward speaking on this, including Heather Morris, one of the stars from the hit show Glee, claiming that Lopez made a point to ask everyone in the room if they were Virgos or not. Some even alleged that all Virgos were dismissed and not even given a chance to audition. J.Lo apparently walked in the room and said, "Thank you guys so much. You guys have worked so hard. By a show of hands, if there are any Virgos in the room, can you just raise your hands?" Apparently, she saw the raised hands, whispered to her assistant, and then dismissed all of the Virgos. Like, they all just had to leave. And this was after like 6 to 8 hours of being there, and not paid hours because you don't get paid to go to these auditions. So this was just like a big waste of time, basically. And hold on, just imagine like you lose an opportunity of a lifetime because you're a Virgo. Like, I just know that room was hot. So one dancer who wished to remain anonymous told a popular dance publication that J.Lo's team asked about their sign before the audition. And the dancer, who's a Virgo, claimed they were immediately cut and never given a chance to even attend the audition, period. Another dancer corroborated this, saying that J.Lo's team seemed to be looking for non-Virgos specifically. This dancer, who isn't a Virgo, admitted to being surprised by the unusual question, but acknowledged being a Scorpio very well may have given them the advantage. Now, J.Lo girl, I just want to know, what have Virgos done to you? Like, no shade when I say this, but I know Mark Anthony was a Virgo, so maybe that's why. Nevertheless, Lopez's team never publicly confirmed or denied these allegations. However, J.Lo once did mention in an interview with a popular talk show that she does believe in the power of astrology and often considers that when making really important decisions. So there's that. Of course, there was a lot of mixed reactions as well. One person said, in J.Lo's defense, Virgos tend to be highly uncoachable unless they happen to share your vision. And another simply said, such a Leo move. Regardless of the motivations behind J.Lo's alleged preference for non-Virgos, the incident left a very sour taste in the mouths of many, many dancers and raised questions about the fairness and transparency of the audition process in the entertainment industry. This next scandal is alarming, but also shocking because I personally have not heard of it before. This is the Jennifer Lopez criminal scandal. This dates back to 2015 and involves illegal substances, fraud, and payola, which is the practice of bribing someone to use their influence. You learn something new every day. Accusations are that J.Lo spiked a Sony label executive's drink, took them back to her house where she then gifted them in exchange for streams and sales. It was also alleged that she actually took part in this deed more than 8 times over the span of 3 months, from March 2015 to June 2015. Now, J.Lo never responded to the allegations. However, on June 2nd of 2015, her debut single, If You Had My Love, spiked 88 spots to number 15 on the US daily Spotify charts before falling 81 spots to 106 the following day. Many believe this is one of the many times where label executives gave Lopez exactly what she wanted. The same song would have random and strange spikes on platforms such as Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music, and YouTube, all helping push the song on the Hot 100. When a blog posted on this incident, Jennifer lost over 50,000 followers on Instagram and Twitter, and the hashtags boycott J.Lo and hashtag J.Lo payola began trending, with boycott J.Lo being the #1 trending hashtag. The following day, Kiss FM announced they would be cutting ties with J.Lo, and 3 days later her song was removed from Spotify playlisting. Jennifer has never spoken out about her mental state or how she felt about it. She actually has never even mentioned it once. Do you think she's capable of being that villainous, or do you think this is just another rumor fueled by hate and jealousy? From requiring her staff to address her as the boss and firing an assistant for failing to provide her favorite snacks on set, let's dig into some extreme rules J.Lo demands from her staff or else. Jennifer Lopez has been accused of setting strict rules and making extreme demands from her staff, which has earned her a reputation as a certified diva. Some are so ridiculous, I had to triple check what I was reading to make sure I read it right. First, let's talk about her no eye contact rule. Lopez reportedly instructed staff at a luxury hotel and her own home not to make eye contact with her. An anonymous insider actually came out with a statement that read, "A friend of ours worked lighting backstage at one of her concerts. All of the workers were strictly instructed, do not look at Miss Lopez. There is to be no eye contact." Another person spoke out as well, saying, "I never heard anyone share a pleasant story about working with Jennifer Lopez." Another person spoke out as well, saying, "I never heard anyone share a pleasant story about working with Jennifer Lopez. One of my friends worked on set with her and the eye contact thing is true, LOL." Another person said, "I knew people who worked at Mohegan Sun and they were instructed to totally avoid eye contact with J Diva. They still laugh about her to this day because far bigger celebs have appeared there that have been far more gracious and friendly." This, of course, has sparked outrage and has only further damaged her reputation. It's 2024, like in this intense social media era we're in, like it's so difficult to keep a positive image. So you would think she would work like a little harder to make sure allegations like this come with maybe 1 or 2 max stories from people claiming to have experienced this with her. I guess she's so unbothered to not tone down her diva-isms at all. J.Lo also is known to have strict rules around people talking directly to her. So it's bad enough that like no one can look her in the eye, but what does that matter if no one is allowed to even say hi, bye, or ask a simple question? Allegedly on a flight a while back, one flight attendant asked the star if she would like to drink something during her flight. J.Lo didn't even look at him. Instead, she turned to her personal assistant and said, "Please tell him I'd like a Diet Coke and lime." Now, you'd think in the comfort of her own home, she would loosen up a little bit. Nope. She apparently once had her house renovated and had the workmen follow ridiculous rules. Reportedly, they couldn't approach her or even start a conversation with her. And yes, you guessed it, they were also forbidden to make eye contact. Man, J.Lo like really does not like people looking at her. It's kind of weird considering her whole life and career revolves around people watching her. Jennifer also is known to have huge lists of demands she sends to the hotels that she stays at. So she always demands to have like the entire floor booked out for her, roses on her bed, and a very specific brand of candles. I think I demanded that maybe like once for my birthday. I still didn't get it. Ouch. She even once requested a private beach for a hotel that simply did not have private beaches. So like, huh? And like, get this, she requests diamond encrusted headphones always, like in order to draw out sounds, which I totally get, but do the diamonds like help with that? Or I don't know. She also allegedly demands that her entire dressing room always be fully white, including the sofas, and her staff basically suffer the most though, because their list of demands are so insanely long. They have to be on call like 24/7 to cater to her every need. She demands that her grapes be seedless, her M&Ms plain, and only wants chocolate chip cookies. Her hotel rooms must be cooled to like a precise 80 degrees with 2 oscillating fans, and she always needs a private jet, helicopter, and custom-made speedboats. J.Lo has even gone on the record saying, "I'm looking for a hard worker, a worker that isn't afraid to work 24 hours a day." Her staff typically have so many tasks that they don't even have time to eat, and it's even alleged that as punishment, J.Lo has made her staff do like really unnecessary errands such as like fetch KFC buckets. That's just like so strange to me. Like, okay, sure, I'll go get a 10-piece and a Pepsi, no problem. Allegedly, she even took back large tips given to her staff if she felt they didn't like comply with all her rules and demands. J.Lo has gone on record saying she worked harder than anyone she knows. And while that may be true, maybe, it like still doesn't give her the right she thinks she has to believe she's better than anyone else or that no one deserves respect. Now, I am like a serious candle lover, so I can really appreciate J.Lo having a favorite scent or like only wanting to buy from one specific place. Like me personally, I'm not that picky, but if I was a millionaire, maybe yeah, I'd buy out like every Bath and Body Works crisp linen or sun-drenched linen candle that they have on their shelf because I love it that much. But here's something really interesting. If you actually Google Jennifer Lopez candles, you get a bunch of results for the singer's own range of candles, but they're not actually available to buy. And she demands that every single hotel she goes to must include lime blossom or Jo Malone grapefruit scented candles only. J.Lo's arrival basically like paralyzes the entire hotel staff with fear, because if her suite isn't awaiting her with lime blossom or grapefruit scented candles, she will quite literally lose her mind. And yeah, just one of those candles actually retails for about $500, so excuse me while I cry and pour. And this next one is a little bit more ridiculous. So aside from her demanding that her like $50,000 a night suite has soft baked chocolate chip cookies, sour cream and onion chips, fresh fruit platters, and like very specific scented candles, J.Lo also demands she has a bowl of Planters sunflower seeds. Now that sounds like simple enough, right? No. Because if even one of those seeds lacks a shell, she will have a total meltdown. Every single sunflower seed that's in her bowl has to have a shell. And so she may actually throw the bowl at the wall or at the person that dished it out if it doesn't have a shell. So that's pretty scary. Now, I'm not a super walker, runner, etc. Like I don't like to hike, none of that stuff. And I quite honestly will pay for convenience if I can. So yes, I use ride sharing apps quite frequently, but J.Lo takes convenience to like a next level. And considering J.Lo seems to have an abundance of energy and stamina, you see all her workout videos, you would think like a 3-block walk would be manageable for her. Apparently not. Because when J.Lo was staying in London, she made 7 limousines escort her for a 3-block journey to lunch at the Dorchester Hotel. Now, like, this is so absurd to me because, and I have so many questions, because not her claiming she loves working out and walking, and that's what makes her happy, but then refuses to walk like a few blocks. I just don't get it. This next staff demand is equally as alarming as the other ones I've discussed. Of course, you know that most celebrities associate the color white with success, so we've already talked about how J.Lo demands like an all-white dressing room with white couches and white candles to match, but it's also been reported that she forces her entire entourage to wear white as well. And no, not just like shoes and bow ties. I'm like talking head to toe, covered in white everything all the time. Like she apparently just sends out memos to her entire staff that simply says, wear all white. And that's not just for tours, it's like for everything. She even gave birth to her twins in an all white fur coat. J.Lo is apparently a huge fan of sports hydration drinks like Gatorade. What she doesn't like, however, though, is not having them served to her at like the precise temperature she dictates. It's been reported that Jennifer's hotel room bar requirements include a strict setup of regular Coke, Diet Coke, caffeine-free Coke, lemon wedges, honey, and Gatorade. but the Smart Water and Fruit Punch or Orange Gatorade must be available at both very specific room and refrigerated temperatures. Okay, I know I mentioned the whole like plain M&Ms thing earlier, but I want to circle back to this one only because on a second thought, it has dawned on me just how funny this really is. Like, do you guys remember the movie The Wedding Planner with Matthew McConaughey? It was honestly one of my favorite rom-coms. I've watched it too many times to count, but if you haven't watched it, there's basically one scene where Matthew tells J.Lo that like brown M&Ms are healthier than the other colors because chocolate is already brown, and she takes that and like runs with it because you'll see her picking out every other color of M&M at some point in the movie. Well, it's like she took that advice in real life and also ran with it because she apparently freaks out on staff if the wrong kind of M&M is left out and it's not just the plain ones in a bowl. Like, yes, she takes her nutrition very seriously, we know that, but like, who's gonna tell her that every M&M in a pack has the same nutritional value as the plain brown ones? Now, if you're not already a bit turned off by all of her crazy demands, just hold on, I got another one for you. It is alleged that she insists her hotel rooms be playing music. Cool, no problem. But not just any music, like her music. And I get it, you like your own music, like you have some big tracks. I'm a fan of a few songs of her too, but like, why are you wanting to hear your songs only? I just don't get it. And I just know a speaker hates to see J.Lo coming. And this request is said to be mandatory, like no exceptions. So I just have like a very vivid image in my head of J.Lo like sitting in her all-white suite, Jo Malone candles going, plain M&Ms in a bowl, room temperature Gatorade in hand, while she like slightly nods her head to her like hit single Let's Get Loud or something. The crazy part is these demands are just some of them. There's crazier ones, like there's more I haven't talked about. But what do you guys think? Are these reasonable or ridiculous?
It wasn't about doing it my way or having complete control. Nobody really wanted to do it. So I had to do it.
I've worked with a lot of different men, obviously, as we all have. But it was just always fascinating to me because I did get a moniker of being like a diva, which I never felt I deserved.
I grew up, I'm Puerto Rican, so I like rice and beans.
Are you Puerto Rican?
And yes, I am.
And Jennifer walked into the room. She looked at me, just gave me a blank stare, and then looked away to her bodyguards as if, you were told to get this trash and clear the room. Why isn't this room cleared?
J.Lo has shown signs of not being somebody good for quite a while now, and it's time we play Count the Red Flags. So Jennifer Lopez is notorious for stealing from other artists, and like, when you think about how many times she's stolen, it's actually kind of crazy. So let's go back in time, let's go through the timeline, folks. She caught her big break back in 1997, the year I was born, when she starred as the late Latin pop singer icon Selena in the biography of the same name. So after that, J.Lo ventured into music. Her demo was quickly picked up by music executive Tommy Mottola and Sony Music, and she dropped her debut album in summer of 1999. It was on the 6th, huge deal. This was only 2 years later, like, ooh. One big hit from the album, If You Had My Love. We all know it, we all love it. Now, this song, this is her first big hit, received backlash from R&B singer Shantae Moore. So Moore had a near identical song called If I Gave Love, which was recorded only a year prior in 1998. And both of these songs were written and produced by Rodney Jerkins. Now, it's been said that Jennifer Lopez's then boyfriend Puff Daddy pressured Jerkins to write a near identical song. And J.Lo's stealing only gets worse as time goes on. So here's the thing, using background vocals is not uncommon in the music industry. But the issue with J.Lo is that she's passed off a lot of these vocals from other singers as her own, which is essentially committing fraud. Songs like Play and the I'm Real remix feature prominent reference track vocals from Christina Milian and Ashanti. Jennifer and Ja Rule's music video for the I'm Real remix, yeah, it kind of was very obvious when J.Lo was reusing Ashanti's reference track vocals on the song and not her own, but passing them off as her own. She just left the demo vocals on the song and didn't credit anybody. She's also stolen, or at least attempted to steal, from artists like Usher, Brandy Norwood, Mariah Carey, and so many more. She's also been accused of lip syncing during live performances on many occasions. Let's see, what's a recent example? Ooh, 2021. A lot of folks took to social media during her American Music Awards performance to express their disappointment, because they're like, girl, your vocals are not matching the studio version of your song. Similar accusations surfaced in 2014 during her performance on American Idol, when people were like, girl, you're lip syncing, I love you, Poppy. Forbes credits makeup artist Scott Barnes with creating the signature technique that became J.Lo's iconic glow, which was the preferred look of the early 2000s. And no folks, it was not olive oil, it was makeup. J.Lo and Scott worked together for like many years. He worked on Hustlers, he worked on the Halftime Show, like he's been by J.Lo J.Lo's side since almost the beginning of her career. And while their working relationship and friendship spans 2 decades, there was a time when Scott didn't have J.Lo's love, and we need to talk about it. So he spilled the beans during an interview on the Jeff Probst show. So after rumors circulated that Barnes and a couple of others leaked plans of J.Lo and Mark Anthony's secret marriage, J.Lo's team shunned Barnes. He said nobody would talk to me. It was like I had some sort of disease. Now when the truth came out that obviously he did not leak the news, he didn't even know about the wedding ahead of time, he got a phone call, presumably from J.Lo, and he claimed, she said, it was like, hey, it was a big misunderstanding, you know, we have a lot of stuff coming up, and like I really miss you, so let's just get back to work. Now obviously he's been very diplomatic in his recounting of the temporary fallout, but it's clear that he never got like a direct apology for being shunned for no reason. And what's even more interesting is, considering the fact that the two quickly reconciled, he chose not to keep this story quiet, which means he's got something to say, which means I think there's more that needs to be talked about. So Jennifer Lopez faced backlash after revealing she was unhappy about sharing the stage with fellow iconic recording artist Shakira at the 2020 Super Bowl. The duo took the stage by storm at the iconic annual halftime show, with their history-making performance attracting tons of praise from fans and celebrities worldwide. But, and it's a big one, it turns out that despite the evident success of the joint performance, J.Lo wasn't really super duper happy with the NFL's decision to have her and Shakira take the stage together, admitting in her Netflix documentary that she thought that it was the worst idea in the world. So shortly after those comments began hitting the internet, fans called her out for her entitled attitude, arguing that regardless of the time constraints, the duo put on an iconic show. Speaking of J.Lo and her documentaries, if you didn't know, earlier this year, she released this documentary on Amazon Prime called This Is Me Now, A Love Story, which gave a behind-the-scenes look into her album, This Is Me Now, and the accompanying movie, The Greatest Love Story Never Told. I know, it's a lot, it all came out around the same time, and a lot of folks who watched it were like, hey, not to fact check, but you lied a little bit. So in one scene, J.Lo poses in the mirror of her personal gym, she's shaking out her hair, and she's talking about her upbringing. When I like taking out my hair like this, it reminds me like when I was in the Bronx, running up and down the block, crazy girl who used to be wild and no limits, all dreams. However, folks, and this is where the fact checking comes in, TikTok user Photos by Angela slammed J.Lo in a series of videos because she's like, oh no, I went to the same Catholic high school as Jennifer, and accused J.Lo of lying about her experience living in the Bronx. She said, we attended this all-girls school in an Irish and Italian neighborhood. You weren't running up and down the block. And we're not done with the lies yet, folks. So remember earlier when I talked about the stealing and the music? So J.Lo's been accused of not actually singing on her albums, and somebody else has something to say about it. Singer Natasha Ramos took to TikTok to shed some light. Now she has a voice that's very similar to J.Lo's, and she was hired to sing on the demo of Jenny from the Block. And the production team liked her voice so much that they asked her to record 5 more songs for the album This Is Me Then, including the single I'm Glad. Now Natasha received $3,500, a backup singer's credit, but as she claims and as the original demo demonstrates, it's her voice on the final track. And we're not just talking the choruses, it's her laugh, it's her yelling from the Bronx. It's technically her song. So what isn't J.Lo telling us? Going back to that old boyfriend, Puff Daddy. Well, that whole arrest on racketeering and things I can't say and we can't talk about and can't show has obviously sent shockwaves through Hollywood. Everybody is turning the spotlight on his infamous past parties because they were the place to be for 20 years. And as the scandal unfolds, a lot of celebrities once linked to his star-studded events have noticeably remained silent. Now, in the midst of all of this, there's been a photo from the 4th of July party in the year 2000 that's caused some buzz. So it's a big group photo. We've got him in a bed with J.Lo, Aaliyah, Andre Harrell, Natanya Adcock, Damon Dash, and almost everybody's dressed in white, so I guess it was a white party as well, minus Puff Daddy, J.Lo, and Natanya. So there's some intrigue here. And then there's another photo. Just J.Lo and Puffy, once again, cuddled up on this oversized bed with white pillows that I wouldn't want to take a black light within 20 feet of. And a lot of people are calling the music industry and the Hollywood industry out after seeing that first group photo, because we all remember Aaliyah, right? Her story that I can't talk about. So somebody said, poor Aaliyah, dealing with all of the icky people she dealt with. She was so vulnerable and unprotected. She was in the wrong spaces. The industry was so cruel to her. Like, when you look at the photos, sure, yeah, they look like just a fun romp, a fun little party, a little Hollywood moment. But now when you look at all the context, all the things that have happened or allegedly happened over the years, obviously people are going to talk about it. And also, people want to know, why is J.Lo being silent? Like, maybe she was left traumatized during her time with Puff Daddy. But somebody else was like, hey, maybe that's why none of her marriages have lasted long, because she's traumatized from what happened. So she only dated Puff Daddy for like 2 years. They dated from 1999 to 2001, and apparently they had a roller coaster of a relationship. It was one for the history books at the turn of the century, but apparently it was super duper turbulent.
A club incident from 1999 involving Diddy is bringing up some red flags in the present day. We'll get into all this and more today in Celebrities Who Revealed Jennifer Lopez's Red Flags to the Public. This whole Diddy situation is bringing many secrets to light, and J.Lo has a unique connection to the disgraced rapper. She wasn't just a name on his party guest list, she was the host's girlfriend. She and Diddy dated from 1999 to 2001. It was a wild ride to the outside observer, and details about their relationship are still being exposed, especially those regarding a December 1999 club incident that resulted in both parties being arrested. Earlier this year, new details revealed by Rodney Little Rod Jones Jr. suggested that J.Lo might have lied or not been entirely truthful about her involvement that night. Little Rod Jones Jr. filed a civil lawsuit for non-consensual relations and harassment against Diddy, but it also seemed to possibly reference this 1999 incident as well. It claimed that on the day Homeland Security raided Diddy's home, he displayed his weapons and bragged about getting away with using these weapons against people. It claimed that J.Lo was the one who carried the firearm into the club for him and passed him the firearm after he got into an altercation with another individual. On the night of the incident, J.Lo was held for 14 hours before being cleared of all charges. Before, it was believed that J.Lo was simply present at the event but had little to no involvement. If she did in fact bring in the weapon, like this lawsuit is claiming, then that would mean she wasn't entirely truthful about her role in the events of that evening. In September of this year, Knight, a former record executive, brought this incident up and revealed that he believes the reason that J.Lo separated from ex-husband Ben Affleck was because of some tapes found in Diddy's home. Knight shared his theories on his podcast, claiming that when the FBI raided Diddy's home, they would have found some tapes featuring the Jenny from the Block singer. The former record exec talked about the 1999 incident that got J.Lo arrested with Diddy, the altercation in the Manhattan club that dissolved into a police chase and arrest of the famous couple. Knight said, they go raid Puffy's house and they get all these videos of J.Lo doing this and J.Lo doing that, and they know the fact that J.Lo lied and said that the weapon was Shine's or whatever and sent that man to prison, destroyed his life, and she knew it was Puffy's. This is a pretty major accusation considering that people were hurt in the club that night. But speaking of Ben Affleck, him and J.Lo unfortunately did get a divorce this year after 2 years of marriage. The official reason was irreconcilable differences, but as always, the internet has 101 theories as to how things fell apart. Some people allege that it was because of a breach of trust. When J.Lo shared the love letters Ben had written to her, he didn't find out until it already happened. Ben Affleck is known to be a pretty private guy. While filming the documentary about her movie, J.Lo let some musicians read the letters, hoping it would inspire them. Ben allegedly didn't know this was going to happen, which some say is a serious breach of trust. Even though Affleck appeared taken aback, he seemed to have accepted it, and that if J.Lo wants to call the film the greatest love story never told, the letters about said love should probably be in it. Other theories relate more to J.Lo's treatment of service workers. When it came out that allegedly J.Lo not only tries to control how much Affleck tips those in the service industry, but will also allegedly secretly exchange larger tips from smaller ones, people were in disbelief. Many people have shared their encounters serving J.Lo and Ben in some way on TikTok. Most stories have one thing in common: J.Lo is not fun to serve. One former casino employee claimed in a video uploaded to TikTok that J.Lo would either encourage Affleck to leave smaller tips for employees, or if he still left something bigger, circle back later to exchange it for something smaller. Likely without her husband knowing, but not always. In one particular instance of this, Affleck was allegedly present when it happened and allegedly looked mortified. As a person that puts a lot of stress on her upbringing and how hard she worked to achieve her status, people find it odd that J.Lo is so reluctant to give other hardworking individuals a boost every once in a while. A clip about Derek Huff from J.Lo's new documentary went viral online because it looked like J.Lo was trying to move his wedding plans around to accommodate her movie. It sounds really bad, but the short clip isn't flattering. J.Lo is seen talking with people on her team. It looks like she's looking for someone to either choreograph or be in the movie, and she wants a good dancer. She really wants Derek. But then she says that she only needs him for 1 or 2 days, but as a member of her team quickly points out, he was busy because he was at a wedding. It was revealed by Derek at the premiere that it was his wedding. Actually, he revealed he received a call from J.Lo in the middle of planning his wedding, and people connected the dots from there. In the viral clip, J.Lo insists that Derek be called anyway. Not a good look. The internet really tore her apart for that one. But after the movie came out, Derek joined E! News for an interview where he clarified that J.Lo did not make him change his schedule. She flipped her schedule around for him. He also went on to say that J.Lo provided guidance and help while he was planning his wedding. Brandy might have accidentally roped herself into the feud between between Mariah Carey and J.Lo, but she has her own feud with the Jenny from the Block singer, and it exposed some interesting methods to J.Lo's song production. Brandy wrote a song called Ride or Die. The problem was there were a bunch of delays with the album it was for, and for some reason, those delays meant that Brandy no longer had the song, and it went to J.Lo for her Rebirth album. Ride or Die still kept quite a few Brandy vocals though, which likely added fuel to that fire. J.Lo has been found guilty of not singing portions of her songs before or keeping other singers' vocals on the track to fill it out, but how did Brandy get into the decades-long feud with Mariah Carey and J.Lo? Well, she posted a photo with Carey in 2017 and captioned it #SheKnows-me, to which Carey confirmed in the comments, "I sure do." This exchange might mean nothing to the average person, but to J.Lo fans this was like a declaration of war. Back in the early 2000s when J.Lo was starting to become a major name, Carey was on a red carpet and the topic moved to Lopez, to which Carey replied with, "I don't know her." Such a simple sentence, and yet it ignited a decades-long feud. J.Lo fans believe Brandy was referencing this with her hashtag caption. That little comment wasn't the first thing to happen between the pair. The first big step was probably, if you look at it from Mariah Carey's perspective, when J.Lo stole a never-before sampled song from her ahead of her album release. Yeah, that was not great. The song was Firecracker by Yellow Magic Orchestra. Mariah wanted it for her upcoming song Loverboy, so she applied for a license. The only thing was her ex-husband must have hated her because he also applied for the same thing, and unfortunately for Carey, got it. So J.Lo's track I'm Real got the sample, and it also featured vocals from another singer, Shailene Thomas. Presumably, this was the beginning of their feud. Social media star Samantha Barbash was the inspiration behind J.Lo's critically acclaimed film Hustlers. Samantha, however, does not appreciate the film and actually sued J.Lo and her production company for defamation. Samantha shared her perspective on the situation in an interview with TMZ. She said, "They basically stole my story. I wouldn't sign my rights away. I wasn't giving away my film and TV rights for peanuts. J.Lo doesn't work for free, why would I?" Further claiming that 87% of the film was wrong. Samantha's case was ultimately dismissed. J.Lo was slammed online earlier this year for her behavior in an interview at the Met Gala. J.Lo was a co-chair for the 2024 Met Gala and wore an eye-catching beaded Schiaparelli gown to the charity event. TikToker Annika Reed was present at the Met as an interviewer on the side. She was close enough to ask the celebrities questions as they were heading up, and it seems not everyone was happy about that. As J.Lo was making her way past Reed, Reed shouted, "Who are you wearing tonight?" Pretty standard red carpet question, but J.Lo appeared less than impressed. With only a glance over, J.Lo responds with a quick Schiaparelli before continuing up. When Reed posted the video to her TikTok, the caption suggested that she didn't mind J.Lo's response, but the comment section did. Many people called J.Lo out for being rude, one person saying Reed receiving a rude J.Lo interaction was the J.Lo experience. In comparison, other celebrities answered Reed's questions with big smiles in the occasional full interview. The Met Gala isn't the first major event where J.Lo was criticized for her actions on the carpet. Glambots have increased in popularity over the years, as they are the perfect way to showcase a celebrity look and make people look great. A Glambot of J.Lo was posted for her birthday in 2022, but the video did not garner the response the poster probably hoped for. In the video, we can see Glambot host Cole explaining to Lopez as she walks up how it all works. She appears to be uninterested in what he's saying. Maybe J.Lo had somewhere to be, or she was trying to keep to a schedule, we'll never know, but the ending of the video does not paint her in the best light. As part of her Glambot, the singer's movements involved taking a step to the side, and then that step to the side turned into her walking off. It's not shown if she said goodbye to Cole or anyone else working on the Glambots, but it doesn't look that way. Naturally, people are pretty upset about it. One person commented, "She doesn't look very friendly." Cole did film a Glambot behind the scenes for this particular video where he explained the situation, saying they had very limited time and he wasn't expecting to see J.Lo. So it was an in and out kind of situation. J.Lo herself revealed a red flag when she didn't notice a camera was live at the 2023 Grammys. A video posted of the 30-second interaction features host Trevor Noah sitting beside the couple. Since he was seated directly beside them and talking, the couple either didn't realize the camera was on them or the moment was a very believable bit. In the clip, you can see J.Lo speaking to Affleck in what looks like could be a stern tone. As the camera gets closer, J.Lo lightly hits Affleck's chest before giving him a displeased look and turning away looking frustrated. Affleck is also looking a bit disgruntled for the remainder of the video. Once Jennifer does turn around and realize where the camera is, she starts laughing and smiling again, and Ben offers little half smiles, but mainly keeps a straight face.
What are Jennifer Lopez and Sean Diddy Combs hiding now? Sean Diddy Combs and Jennifer Lopez both have skeletons in their closets, maybe one more than the other, and I'll let you decide. but they were dating from 1999 to 2001, but it was far from a smooth ride. Their time together was marred by a number of issues, including a bizarre and confusing threat from Diddy that left people puzzled. Even J.Lo suspected Diddy was cheating on her. Jennifer revealed in a 2001 interview with Rolling Stone that Diddy would often threaten to divorce her, despite the fact that they were never married. She said, "He told me many times, I want a divorce." She explained that this threat would come up often, usually when they were struggling to find time to see each other due to their hectic schedules. Diddy, frustrated by their lack of time together, would say, "I'll be away so much, I can't get away, so where do I send the papers?" While Jennifer described herself as a homebody, Diddy was much more inclined to spend his free time at the club. She said, "Puff loves to go out. He's been a going out to the clubs type of person all his life, doing his thing. I've always been a homebody, so we switch off what we do when we're together. I don't really like to talk about us because I don't feel like it's anybody's business. It's a separate thing. He's an artist, I'm an artist, we have two separate careers." J.Lo was keen on keeping many of the details about the relationship private, stating that she wanted to keep certain aspects sacred. After their breakup, J.Lo admitted how Diddy exhausted her. While addressing the 2 years with Diddy, she told Vanity Fair, "It wasn't a great time in my life. It was scary. And we broke up many times before that and got back together and broke up again, and nobody knew about it. It was very toxic. Towards the end, it was emotionally exhausting. It was good that I was young." Following Diddy's recent arrest, resurfaced photos of Jennifer Lopez, Diddy, and some other celebrities, including Aaliyah, all snuggled up on a bed at a party, has stirred a lot of controversy. The photo shows them all on the bed, all smiling, at Diddy's 4th of July party in the Hamptons in 2000, and at the time, Lopez and Diddy were, in fact, in a relationship. The image has been circulating on social media, prompting many reactions from fans. One person commented, "This Diddy scene aged horribly," while another said, "That divorce with Ben Affleck makes more sense now." Others have chimed in as well, saying, "We don't know what happened that night. We might have to get Jennifer Lopez too." And someone else noting, "J.Lo has been awfully quiet." These discussions have caused many people to now revisit Diddy and J.Lo's club incident, and in case you don't know, the couple was once arrested together after police found an unregistered firearm. The question that seems to linger in the wake of Diddy's arrest is just how much Lopez was privy to while dating the rapper for 2 years. While some seem convinced there is no way Lopez didn't know anything about the crimes, others are not so sure, including one of Lopez's ex-staffers who shared her thoughts. She said, "If you knew Jennifer Lopez, if you ever worked with her like I did, or if you were close with people who are like family to her like I am, you would know she did not have any idea about Diddy. As of right now, Lopez has yet to comment publicly on Diddy and his crimes, and reflecting on her relationship with Diddy, Jennifer Lopez did, however, mention in a 2003 interview with Vibe magazine that infidelity was the main reason for their breakup. J.Lo said, "I never caught him, but I just knew." She said Diddy would claim he was going out to the club for a couple of hours, only to end up disappearing for the entire night. She said, "It was the first time I was with someone who wasn't faithful. I was in this relationship with Puff where I was totally crying crazy and going nuts. It really turned my life into a tailspin." In that same interview, she described in further detail just why she left Diddy. She said, and I quote, "I had to think, do I want to be home with kids in 10 years wondering where somebody is at 3 in the morning? They broke up in February 2001 once rumors of his infidelity began to circulate. Diddy's publicist said at the time, Mr. Combs confirmed that he and his love, Jennifer Lopez, have in fact broken up. He wanted to put all the rumors surrounding their relationship to rest. At this difficult time, we ask that you respect his privacy." It was reported though that Diddy made several attempts on more than one occasion to get Jennifer back. He would send flowers, love letters, he even sent over 100 white doves to her. When asked one time on a talk show if any of those attempts worked, J.Lo simply said, no. A fan said on social media, "Has anyone ever considered the fact that J.Lo is traumatized from Diddy, which is why she can't stay married?" Many people piggybacked off of that also, saying that that was a good point, and maybe all along the issue was and still is Diddy, and his lasting negative effect he has had on her. Not that long ago, Lopez was asked about Diddy's allegations while interacting with fans after a screening of her film Unstoppable during the AFI Film Fest in Los Angeles. She was signing autographs when a woman asked if she had any comments about Diddy and the allegations against him. Lopez then moved towards the elevator with her security and promptly ended the signing session, distancing herself from the crowds as she walked away. You have to wonder why she's so reluctant to say anything. Is she scared or is she hiding something? We don't know. But J.Lo's past romance with Diddy has drawn renewed attention. Jennifer Lopez has yet again found herself at the center of the latest accusations against Diddy. Another leaked photo of her and P. Diddy fighting at one of his infamous parties went viral. The latest accusation comes from a lady who claimed that she was SA'd when she was a young woman by Jay-Z and Diddy. The incident happened at an MTV Music Video Awards after party after the girl was picked up by a driver who said she fit what Diddy was looking for. At the time, she was a young woman living in New York and she dreamed of attending the VMAs, so she snuck out of her house and a friend agreed to drive her to Radio City Music Hall in New York City. But without a ticket, she said she stayed outside where crowds watched the awards show on a Jumbotron. The woman looked for a way to gain entry either to the VMAs or an after party, and that was how she actually met a limo driver who claimed to work for Combs. Now, it is alleged the driver offered to take her to an after party. In the suit, it is said that the driver told her that Combs liked younger girls. The driver picked her up later that night and dropped her off at a large white house, where she was met by two men who asked her to sign a document before going inside. The woman now believes the document to have been an NDA, and also adding she actually never received a copy. The lawsuit says the residence was filled with celebrities, and according to the lawsuit, the girl went to lie down in bed after being handed a drink at the party. Diddy eventually entered the room with two celebrities, one a man being Jay-Z and one a woman unknown. Jay-Z allegedly held the girl down and essayed her while Combs and Celebrity B, the female, watched, who many people now are speculating and believe might be J.Lo. In the newly surfaced photo, Jennifer Lopez can be seen arguing with Diddy at the party while he has one hand on the wall and his other hand holding a champagne bottle. A guest who actually attended the exclusive bash recalled witnessing the argument, which apparently ended with Diddy making an early exit with his entourage. Now, the guest said everyone was dancing and enjoying themselves, but as the night progressed, tensions rose between him and J.Lo. This is yet again, of course, another secret that has surfaced and has dragged J.Lo right into the mess that is unfolding. More and more people are coming out with different stories on that night, and at some point, it's gonna become very difficult for Jennifer to avoid addressing any of this. Will she eventually speak out and defend herself against these accusations that she knows more than she's let on, or will her lips remain sealed?